Hi, I'm Kurt Smith, and welcome to Apttus, a series of conversations with Salesforce customers on how using business apps from the App Exchange can help you manage all aspects of your business. Today we're here with Healthwise to talk about how they modernized their quote-to-cash system and their revenue management systems with Apttus. So welcome to Apttus.
Thank you.
Jason, let's start with you. Can you tell me a little bit about Healthwise?
Yeah, thanks, Kurt. So I'm our Chief Client Officer, and I'm responsible for our customer experience, our brand, and of course our top line. And Healthwise is in the business of helping people make better health decisions. So we're a not-for-profit organization, been here for 40 years, quite successful. We advocate for you, for me, for all of us. We advocate in DC, we advocate in your doctor's office, and we make sure that you have what you need to make the best health decisions. So 1.6 billion health decisions to date have been made and made better by Healthwise.
That's fantastic.
I joined Healthwise about 2 years ago as the Senior VP of Finance at a time when the company was really positioned for significant growth, expecting about 40% growth in top-line revenue in a 5-year period with an expectation that we would hold costs constant. And so no growth in our resources and our staff to support that important growth, at least from the back-end operations side.
A very daunting challenge.
Indeed it was.
And how did you get started with Salesforce and Apttus?
Well, the journey with Apttus started with quote-to-cash. Upstream of that, we started with Salesforce because we needed one source of truth. And we needed that all-important 360-degree view of the client. And so that's how we got started with Salesforce. And then very quickly, because of all of the manual quoting that we were doing, we identified Apttus as kind of a best-in-class and have seen great progress with that to date, and actually been able to, reduce our manual processes quite a bit.
That's fantastic. The sales team had started with Salesforce and Apttus, and how did the finance team get involved? What did it, when you started, what was the...
Right. So when I came in, I inherited very manual processes. I had, a relatively small staff doing manual invoice data entry into the ERP from these very complicated client files in these thick folders we refer to lovingly as our blue folders, and in some cases, multiple blue folders per client because of the vast complexity of their licenses. They license content from us, buy solution services from us, so very complicated engagements. And I was sitting in the CEO's office about 6 weeks into my tenure, and he said, what's going well, what's not going so well? And I said, well, I'm really impressed with the commitment this organization has made to have Salesforce be the backbone, not just from a CRM perspective, but through quoting and really using it to manage the front-end customer lifecycle. But I have no automation of that kind on the back end. I have nightmare on Excel Street. We're trying to manage all of our processes in this complex web of Excel spreadsheets. And if you really want scalability without added cost, I need to find a way to bring that kind of automation to the finance team as well. And I'd love to do it inside of Salesforce. To which they, of course, said, but Salesforce is for sales. And I said, well, it isn't anymore just for sales, and I'd like to explore that.
And so what did you do next? How did you get past that initial blockade of you can't do anything but just sales in Salesforce?
So a colleague of ours who'd been working actively on the CPQ product said, come with me to Accelerate. I want you to see the solutions that Apttus offers. So I remember the defining moment and the slide, I can still see it on the screen, that was such an aha moment for me where I saw the depiction of CPQ, which is one tool, and CLM, which is another tool, revenue management with these supporting solutions including workflow and XAuthor, all together built as a quote-to-cash solution and harnessing the power of not individual apps, which of course are powerful in and of themselves, but truly the power of using all of those applications together to create a true quote-to-cash solution for Healthwise. Felt like a cartoon with the little bubble above my head, and I went back with this vision of what we could accomplish together with Apttus.
Fantastic. And what were some of the initial results when you started using Apttus? farther on than just the CPQ process.
So when we did our first implementation on new client contracts on the quote-to-cash system, we had 100% user adoption with 85% of our new client quotes going through the system unassisted within 2 weeks. So we were able to really harness that power and use the capability for the quote-to-cash system almost immediately.
Wow, that's amazing. And Jason, how did it impact the sales team?
Yeah, so I mean, a part of the quoting process that we completely revolutionized allowed us, because at the same time we were moving from an a la carte product sales organization to a solution sales organization where we put multiple products together to solve these really big problems for our clients. The complexity of putting together those packages, making sure the pricing is accurate, making sure that all the promises that we're making in those quotes, that was all 100% manual, it just wasn't possible. It wasn't possible for us to do that. Once we automated it, we were able to see really 3 times increase in average sales price because we're moving from products to solution sales, and that wouldn't be possible with a manual process. It had to be automated.